Art is important because it is morally ambiguous. In this totally polarized culture where we are alone, believing the various orthodoxies we find in our computers, each of us has come to imagine that we are a crusader for what is right and what is wrong. We need art. Art offers no truth, it offers no answers, only questions. It shocks, upsets, unsettles, and demands that we use our own minds and heart to think, feel, explore undiscovered countries, and change our mind. Art is a lie. This is why we need the Liars Club. So now you must applaud for me. So, okay, and all that went away. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do for you before I bring up my actors from the show and talk about the show, and then we'll have some people who are going to be, why we're all here, all these Liars Club attendees who are going to perform. I've just seen some friends I haven't seen for years. It's like a party from Sky's past. Okay, good. Okay, so, and I'm Jane, by the way, but when I'm not wearing all this, I'm Sky. Okay, well, yeah, I said that with a sigh, didn't I? It's because Jane is so much easier and she's so much more fun. And years ago, she used to have more sex than I did, or at least as much, which is an amazing amount. So, let's just see here. What was I going to do? I was going to read this poem. Okay, so, my partner, who I always bring up, and who I love very much, he decided, we were having an argument about AI, and he decided that he thinks that AI can write poetry. You know, like, boo, he's very much on the side of science and all that technology. I've been arguing him out of it. So then he sent me 3 AI poems, which he wrote about me. And they're all horrible. Like, they're all, in this sense, they're quite lovely in a sort of a doggerel sort of way. But they're all kind of, they're all about how horrible I am and how much I need my boyfriend. And how much my boyfriend will save me. This is one of my favorites. This one, the fact that I dared to read this poem aloud, I think says that I'm a very brave person. So, this is about me, my boyfriend, what he thinks of me, with the help of AI. In the depths of his hardened heart, behold an old man, selfish, stubborn, and cold, with demons that haunt his troubled mind, guilt and regret, the bonds he can't unwind. His mother's voice echoes inside his head, whispering words of wisdom he dreads, yet he shuts his ears, refuses to heed the lesson she shared, the love he did need. Seeking solace, he turns to the bottle to drown the pain, escape his sorrow's throttle. In the haze of each intoxicating sip, he hopes the memories would slowly slip. Binge drinking and chasing after lost dreams. He clings to boyhood's flickering gleams. But this is supposed to be funny, you guys. Yeah. You're taking it far too seriously.
It's also just scary.
But trapped in a cycle he cannot break, he wallows in choices he's afraid to make. Week after week he chases boys helplessly, caught in a web spun all too preciously, blinded to the truth he denies the snare, preferring to live with familiar despair. Fear, his constant companion, clings tight like a shadow that lingers throughout the night. He clutches it fiercely, refusing to grow, content in the fear he's come to know. Oh, selfish old man, locked in your own mind, bound by the chains you refuse to unwind. Your heart yearns for freedom, for a brand new start, but you're shackled by pride, denying your own part. Break free from the trap that holds you so tight. Embrace the unknown, step into the light. Release the guilt, let the demons depart, and open your soul to a compassionate heart. For life is a journey, or an ever-changing tide. To stagnate and wither you cannot abide. So shed your fears, let your spirit ignite, and soar beyond the confines of your self-imposed night.
Don't do it.
Thank you, honey. I won't do any of that. I'm certainly not going to stop chasing boys. I'm not going to stop drinking. Oh my God, it's so crazy. So, the way that Liars Club works is that we have 5 minutes for everyone. So that's a strict rule. I don't know what I'll do, but something drastic. Take off my skirt or my mask or something if you're more than 5 minutes. But that's the thing. And I'm very excited tonight because a lot of people that I've never met who are here for the first time. And an exciting thing is that we have Marty Smith and Mary Fish, who are going to film as well, and Marty's going to perform. But you have to tell us before you perform if you want to be filmed, okay? I've told them with me it's carte blanche. I love being filmed. So I'll ask before you come up whether or not. And I'm just going to arbitrarily go through and start things off. So maybe because, where should we, how should we start? Maybe because Marty, you have, can you come up because then you can relax and film after that?
I can, yeah.
Okay, so will you please welcome, oh no, I forgot, I have to do the scene. Well, we'll do Marty first, then we'll do the scene. Okay, so let's hear Marty first. Everyone welcome Marty Fish, Marty Smith.
Thank you, thank you. Hey, this is a wonderful place here. So just tell you a minute about myself. For about 3 decades, I wrote real short verses, and I set them alongside paintings. And in 2013, I put together an artist book of the short verse and paintings. And in 2015, I thought, well, maybe short verses isn't quite enough. So I put myself to the task of writing an epic that's about 300 lines, and it's named Sophia's Dream, and I have copies of that here. So a year ago, I started a publication on Substack. So I've been writing some prose, which is not really new, but new to share. This is, I let poetry guide me into liberty and joy. I could not conform to the expectations of normalcy. My choice was to submit to examination and treatment by psychiatrists or break free from conformity. An alternative opportunity presented itself. The highway was busy with explorers searching something righteous in America. So then I let poetry guide me into liberty and joy. If poetry herself was not my muse, I would never have crossed the plains so often. I would never have sought refuge in mountains. I would never have gone to Boston or Fort Lauderdale. I would never have gotten ill in New Orleans. I would never have gone to the Wildcat Ranch or joined Gypsy Mike's Magic Circus. If I had submitted to normalcy, would poetry have wept for me? But I affirmed my trust in her, and so did arrive at the Club House bookstore, and I did follow her to Alcatraz for sunrise ceremony with the drum and pipe. Then hope did raise me up and join her with a purpose for me. Hope joined me to the red road and the yellow flag, the green flag and the white light. Through the decades, poetry has carried me to peace and comfort with the world. So, for poetry, I empty my heart to the future. For poetry, I paint imagination with sun rising on justice. If poetry will reform the human condition, then you will find me there with her forevermore.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much, Marty. Marty. That's almost like a much lovelier version of my ode to poetry. And I think that poetry is very important. That's why we're all here. Did you ever go to Key West, Marty?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought you might have. But it's like, I went there when I was about 35, and I had so much fun and so much sex that I never wanted to leave. But then I did eventually come home. And lately I've been watching this Key West program, Bloodline. Has anybody ever seen Bloodline?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see, some people, it's a bit of a cult for people. My problem is that I identify too much with the hero. With the guy, not with Danny, but with the brother who kills Danny. Sorry, just to be a spoiler. But with the brother. And so what happened is that, and my problem is that I just get so involved in guilt movies. Like, I don't know how you are, but if it's a movie about guilt, like American Tragedy or Montgomery Clift, I can't stop watching it. Any movie about someone who does something really horrible and spends their whole life worrying about it, that's me. Like, somehow that's me. I'm not really clear on why, because I had this dream, recurring dream, it seems to be gone now, but this will bring it back, that I killed someone. Right now, I'd wake up in the morning and go, oh my God, how am I, everyone knows, you all know. I've killed someone. Anyway, digression. So, my play, Inside, you're going to see an excerpt right now. Inside is playing, there should be stuff on the tables, and if not, we'll get it out there, but there's some cards for the play. Inside is a play that I wrote for the Fringe. It's opening on the 5th, which is next Thursday night. We're really excited about it. We want to do a tiny little excerpt of the beginning of the play. It's Jonathan Wilson and Ryan Russell are in the play. I'm very excited to have them in it. I'm going to move the mic, and we're going to do it as a scene, so we're not going to do it with a mic, so it'll be a little bit different than someone at a mic. But when you guys are ready, come on up. I'm going to lead.
Excuse me. Hi. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure. What?
Where did you get those shorts?
Why do you ask?
Oh, I just want to know.
Them in a store?
What store?
I can't remember.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I think those shorts are really cool.
Gee, I'm glad you like them.
I would like to get a pair of shorts like those. Not to wear necessarily, but to have around.
Sure. Can't help you there, though. Sorry.
Why not?
Because I can't remember where I got them.
Really? You think you would remember where you got a pair of shorts like that?
No, I can't remember.
Can you try?
No, it was a long time ago.
But I really would.
Excuse me. Could you leave me alone?
Is there a problem?
It's just, do me a favor. Stop talking to me right now, okay?
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm really, 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 really sorry.
Okay. Hey.
Hey,
What's up?
nothing much.
I get you.
Sure.
So what is this?
What?
In here, this.
Oh, you mean,
And you talking to me.
yeah, sorry about that.
So what's this about?
So I wasn't supposed to do that?
I don't know you.
No. Right. No, I won't do that again. I'm sorry about that. I won't do that again if you don't want me to.
No, I
No,
don't.
of course you don't. And I understand that. And I'm very sorry, and I won't ever do that again, I promise.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Very, very sorry. I didn't mean to piss you off.
Yeah, well, not a big deal. So what's this about?
What?
Wasn't this the second time we met?
Well, I just saw you just...
We were at the show.
What show?
At the Eagle.
What's the Eagle?
On Church Street?
Oh, no. I never go to Church Street.
You don't, eh?
No, I stay away from there.
I saw you there.
I don't think so.
Well, I did.
Wasn't me.
Pretty sure it was you.
It must have been someone else.
Okay.
It was someone else. Would you like to go for a drink?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You want to have a drink with me?
Yeah. Is that a bad thing?
Hey, you just started coming up and talking to me about my shorts. Something I never had.
I know. I'm sorry. I really just wanted to talk to
Hey,
you.
you sure did talk a lot.
Yeah, no more than I usually talk.
Yeah, well, whatever. No, I don't want to grab a drink with you. I gotta go.
Wait.
Hey, man.
What?
Let go of my arm.
I'm sorry.
Now, you can't be touching me like that.
Of course not.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
not.
I'm really, really, really sorry.
Oh, well.
I'm sorry about that.
Okay.
So you're just gonna leave me like that?
What?
I thought we were friends.
What are you talking about?
I
don't
thought you
know.
were a nice guy.
Oh, I am a nice guy.
Okay, well then can't we just talk?
No, we could just talk, but then you grabbed my arm.
I know. Well, it's only because I don't know what to do.
Okay.
I don't know the rules. If you tell me the rules, I'll do what I'm told.
Okay.
Okay? All you need to do is set a boundary. I understand boundaries. I have them too. We all do. And that's okay, and I'm sorry. You've got boundaries. I've got boundaries, and they have boundaries. I understand.
I'm glad you do.
I respect that. But wouldn't you like to just, maybe have a chat, go for a drink?
Okay. No. We can't have a drink. If you want to chat, I'm walking this way. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so let's go.
Applaud for them. And if you want to know what's going on, I'm not going to tell you, but things like do they end up in bed together? Is the guy following the other guy? Is he gay or not? He says he's never been to Church Street, but they saw him on Church Street. What's going on? Why is Ryan so hot? Does that have anything to do with his work? Stuff like that. So you'll learn about that if you come and see the play at the Fringe. Opens on the 15th of July, opens on the 5th of July, runs to the 15th. Okay, so I'm going to welcome, sorry, I always say the 15th, 16th.
6th of July.
Did I say the 6th? So it's the 6th of the 16th?
It's on the card.
Okay. It's in July, definitely. But okay, so I'm going to ask someone who's introduced me constantly, so get ready, at another reading series. He runs thousands of them. And this one is called, the reading series is called, what's it called at the Eagle, David? David Bateman. Where's the Dirty Queer Poetry, that's right, where we read on another Wednesday night of the month. And I'm just trying to think, because he's introduced me so many times, what can I say? I think I'll just say the kind of thing he says about me. Multi-talented, everybody knows him, everybody's fucked, oh no, I didn't say that. Everybody knows him, and he's a guy around town, everyone. If you please welcome David Bateman.
If I go over, just stop me.
Oh, I will. I'll throw my dress at you.
I'll read it's only 2 pages, but it's a lot of words.
Okay.
And it's all a lie.
Okay, good. That's the word.
It's called irresistible stigmatism, the condition in which the eye focuses normally. That's a quote. I don't know why this line is there, because I haven't read it in a long time. It says supercalifragilistic expialidocious. Maybe that's an epigram. Anyway, here we go. Lonely, irresistible mathematician watching sunlight multiply in the valley, sharing thick-coated cinnamon buns in his saddlebag, driving me up to Griffith Park to see the stars, and I thought he meant the ghosts of James Dean and Sal Mineo and Natalie Wood in that car race scene from Rebel Without a Cause, and William Shatner mourning wives and singing Moon River badly with all the other planetary prides of internations overlooking LA and the Pacific Rim, and my math bow unwittingly encouraged my fascination with all that glitters as he pointed to the entrance to the open-air Greek theater, where I remembered seeing that live broadcast of one of Neil Diamond's outdoor concerts in 1972 when I was 16. So I had this math genius pegged for a real soulmate, someone who could admit to loving and failing to resist all of the tackiest things in life, Even when I am trying to impress people with my taste in music, I cannot seem to resist lapsing into Neil Diamond, Michael Bolton, Barry Manilow medleys accompanied by a bad impersonation of Kenny G through atonal neo-saxophonic nostrils. And when we got to the top, he pointed toward the lookout into the giant vacuophalic telescopic observatory gazing over valley curtains, deserts, mansions, seas, and I suddenly realized that he meant another kind of star, not the kind that fills me with profoundly superficial glee at the very thought of all that fame and fortune, not the kind I would abandon family for and sing on their televised Christmas specials and pretend I was their funny cousin drawing geometric jokes from life and standing up telling stories and shaking people's hands, pretending this is real because it is the irresistible afterglow of retreating into the bloodless fantasy of not believing in some monolithic truth. Nothing else can work beyond the existential magic, this irresistible stellar constellation of very pretty people and things. And when he drove me back to Canada from the coast of that other irresistible country, replenished his cinnamon buns at every truck stop he could find them in, we stopped at Keppelhenge, built in honor of the last millennium, alongside Georgian Bay, to watch the sky between the rocks. And I lied and told him Goldie Hawn, Kim Basinger, Alec Baldwin, and Kurt Russell all had cottages nearby, when it was really the Muskokas. But he didn't care. He thought my lies were golden and laughed and kissed my cheek whenever I had a few drinks. And I kept calling out for Natalie and Sal. And he forgave me for mistaking his passion for the galaxy for my obsession with Hollywood. So I took him to Nose Hill and then to Casa Loma as we crossed the continent from end to end. And it all drove me wildly insane, made me feel like a star shrieking on an old Chipmunks album, or the silent screen in old Chaplin Keaton or Peter Fonda films on the back of the math geek's Harley, smiling into sunlight, crashing into my helmet visor with the thud of immortal moths. It was all so soft and tender and unspeakably immediate and exciting and irresistibly false. From Griffith Park to Nose Hill to Keppelhenge and Casa Loma and all the heights I never expected to reach with a single human being, believing that the only stars I really saw that night were the ones in his eyes, and his eyes, what the fuck, and his eyes always seemed a little crossed. But there may have been a reflection at dusk in the stars of my own eyes connecting with his pupils, so the stars were mine alone, and he was just a lonely, stigmatismed mathematician I could never resist watching. I could never resist watching sunlight multiply in the valley.
There's a lot of words, David. A lot of lovely words. I'll just say two brief things about that, and one of them is, the main thing I was going to say was that there's a lot of movie stars in that. I was thinking about movie stars and fags and movie stars, and in my latest novel, just so I can mention it, I had these movie stars in it, and he got rejected by this publisher, and he goes, and in my previous novel, I had all the stuff about James Dean. I don't know if you knew, but James Dean was kind of gay, and he kind of liked having cigarettes put out on his body. I know, it spoils it all for you, but everybody does weird things. You do weird things in bed. I know you do. James Dean's dead. Nobody's gonna, be saying bad things about him. I'm just telling you the truth. Like, he used to like to have these cigarettes. Anyway, so I had all this stuff about James Dean, and this guy was a straight publisher. I really liked him. He's a really neat guy, but he didn't get it. And at one point, you put a lot of movie stars in your books. I go, yeah. Why is that? I said, well, maybe there's something to do with talking to gay. And I would say two things: that we want to own Hollywood in a place where there's so much homophobia. That's number one. And number two, I think we realize that Hollywood stars are gods. They're aristocrats, and aristocrats, noblemen, the queen, they were all gods, right? They're gods. So we have to have that mixed feeling we have about God. You know what I mean? We need them, they're there, they scare us, they do bad things. We hate them, we love them. They're gods. That's all I have to say. Now, this person was waiting outside, so you can start making your way up, and I met her before we started, and I think she knows what I'm talking about. So would you please give a big welcome for Dakota Phillips.
chapbook. It's called Dream Norma Jean, and it's called Honey. You know that I have just died for something sweet, yeah. And you come in your colors with the judge of reach or tug of back. You come in gold, come in beige, come in green, come with me. You know that I would do just about anything, anything, baby. Yeah. Thank you.
Oh my God. Dakota, I didn't take my pills. I have little pills that I take. Don't worry, they're called Advil. By the way, Advil and Tylenol, it's magic. You're allowed to take them together. I've been taking them together for years because I'm heavily arthritic. They've suddenly decided they have a new pill. You know what it is? Tylenol and Advil together, right? So I was right all along. Yeah, and then in Dakota we had movie stars again. It seems to me Norma Jean, in my view, is a reference to a movie star. And I was also so glad to hear some music. Thank you, Dakota. Okay, so we have a person who, he was in a play, so you get ready, that we're going to be reading later. He was the star of this play. Do you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, we're reading a little play later at the end, and not a whole play, just a little bit. But the a poet in our audience, yes, you, and start walking. And do you want to be filmed, Peter?
Yeah.
Please welcome to the stage someone who I've known for far too long. And
I'm carrying our knowledge of one another.
yeah, you're carrying the knowledge of us on your back, and it's weighing you down. I can see that. So he'll do something fantastic, I know for sure. Please welcome Peter Lynch.
I know about the Advil Tylenol combination, and I'm going to be asking you for one or both of those pills if you
I
have
have them downstairs.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to read something. I'm cheating because I did read this at Dirty Poetry, but it's called Sweet Meal and Cream. And well, I am the livingest bitch on the dietest earth because I've written a poem about Sylvia Plath's last moments. Okay, she's my favorite all-time poet. Okay. And now, there are, in parentheses, there's her actual, lines from her actual poetry. So I'll raise my finger like this to see where the wind is coming from, to let you know that those are her words, not mine. Okay. Sweet meal and cream. I, the cauldron of morning. The air within abode is thickening in order to thin itself into sprawling smoke. The blue hour yawns to admit me, the disgruntled pilgrim, just to the left side of this fubsy sofa. Mother's wretched cant about my ears. Recent auditory memory is a gray cloud with gravel in its mouth. I walk through this phantasm of sky. My eyes are two bright pair of pinking shears, the dark purpose of cutting the gray sky, the beak of each shear chewing up the scenery as dudgeon rises to eternity. The African violets are three souls devoted to the purpose of evil. Their names are Dear One, Sister Bitch, and Soulless Lover. A sky of pouring plasma, a miasma of sickening swirls discloses my perforce and tidy doom. Sweet meal and cream laid at head, side, feet of my beautiful girl and boy. I open the window wide so that some part of their living soul can pass through as my retreating soul vanishes. Heathen hope of mine that I fly with excoriating rant towards heaven. The boy opens his eyes at this noise, the girl does not. His eyes are a baby crow's adoration. He gets a kiss from his mother. I kiss both my children. The girl twinkles in her slumber. I funnel my heart and love away from my respective angel charges, and my heart is made stone in flight. I walk among sleepers in gauze sarcophagi, smelling the dawn draughts. The red night lights are flat moons. They are dull with blood. Faded love's light, no beauty at all. The bald moon, priestess, prioress, presides in soft light, like a ghost's leave-taking. A note to Dr. Horder, a reminder for me to call, written just last night, is now an ancient damn fool thing. Gas fits me like a garment of neutralized sorrow that was once a moment ago hot and wet with molten sorrow. The heat block cradles my head, my cheek against the communion towel, canary in the continuum of coal mine. I, the cauldron of morning. Thank you.
I must say two things about Peter. First of all, he grew up with my boyfriend, and I didn't even know it. When I started dating in, when he was cross-eyed, when I started dating him, I found out that he was Peter's best friend from the time they were like 5. Peter isn't even listening to me. There were two little, Ian was cross-eyed, but there were there were two little gay boys, effeminate boys, and they were both artists, and they were in school together. And I was like, wow, Peter, who I know and love, and this guy who I've just started to know and love, they were friends. That's the first Peter, and oh yes, and the first time I saw Peter was in a play directed by someone who died last week, so you have to applaud for him, Hiller Latoya. He's a wonderful theater artist. If you didn't see his stuff, you really missed the craziest, most disturbing, most funny, most bizarre stuff you've ever seen. And Peter played in, the play was called This Is What Happens in Orangeville, and Peter played a killer, a murderer in Orangeville. Orangeville called Hiller, did not want him doing the play, because it was all about murder. This is what happens in Orangeville, murder, right? And it's very funny because I see all these bags around Toronto, and if you've noticed them, they're piles, they're dirt bags. I don't know what a dirt bag is besides a dirt bag, but you use it as a negative thing, right? But they're dirt bags, they're bags of dirt. And they say, Orangeville on them. Have you noticed that? I'm like, oh. No, Orangeville. They have murders and they sell dirt. Toronto. They're dirt bags. Anyway, there are probably some very nice people in Orangeville, and maybe they're here, and I don't want to trash them, but that's what I saw. And Peter played this young murderer, and he was absolutely amazing. And I remember the one line, and I'll stop about Peter, that you had Peter that I love so much, was I was like, wow, why did you do it? The psychiatrist saying, why did you kill your parents? I think it was his parents or something. Why did you kill, wasn't it your parents?
2 children.
Oh, 2 children. Why did you kill? Oh yeah, it was really bad. Why did you kill them? And he said, they were stupid. They were useless and they were stupid. And their world will not be any less without those 2 useless, stupid people. It was kind of a Hitler-esque explanation, but it was fascinating. And that's one of the reasons we like art, because very unpleasant things like that are said that kind of rock our world, and we wonder, what does that mean, and why would someone say that or do that? So I'm going to have you come up, if that's okay. So I don't know this person. I'm so proud to have, her name begins with A. I'm giving her a gift.
Archana.
And, pardon me?
Archana.
Oh, I pronounced it wrong. Good. Archana. So will you please welcome someone I've never met, but I'm here for the first time, Archana.
Thank you, Jane.
You're welcome.
I'm a bit confused. I'm wondering what to read. I think in honor of Pride, I will read poems related to love and desire. So I think that would be good. this poem is called Creation Interruptus. It's a take on Coitus Interruptus. It's about love, it's about desire, and about art as well. I think of us as Rodin's lovers fused in a kiss, and anonymous painters Radha and Krishna beneath the blue sky looking into each other's eyes. An upturned yabbium left forgotten in an ancient cave, the legs of wisdom tightening around compassion's waist. We break out of marble, canvas, bronze, and wish to create something new, us. You take the final moments of my hesitation into your brush. Conflagrations of red and golden light turning into muddying yellow, fire melting ice, disturb your canvas. I take your blending, bleeding colors and give them a voice. The voice turns into the chanting of priests, guttural speech, the sound of crackling fire at the core. We enter the beginning of time. And then you disappear. You are not quite there. You are the one I have been waiting for. Only you could call making love to me a benediction. All is reverberation and rhythm. This is the perfect moment. We are about to begin. Come to me now. So this is a poem called There Was Never Two. I use the word asura. Asura are demonic beings in Hindu mythology, but the interesting thing is they're not considered to be evil. They are the cousins of the divine beings, which suggests that both are needed for balance in the universe. There was never two. I was nothing. There was only you and you. When you looked into the swirling river, I was the writing on it that you could not read. When you opened the window, I was the breeze that brushed your face, ruffled your curtains, then fell silent to the floor. In my dream last night, when you walked amongst the flowers of Pampur, I was the opening bud that your hand almost touched. Will your lips ever meet my lips? So what if you were born much before my time? The universe chose my body and yours to reveal love's alchemy. I did not ask how you feel about me. I had my answer when your eyes met mine. What you call the asura inside of you is for me the stirrings of the divine love. There are no contraries in love. When we embrace, our bed will become an altar of flame, turning everything we are and do from gross to sublime. Will your lips ever meet mine? Come, love, we are running out of time. Read the writing on the swirling water. Drink me with your eyes. Make me real with a kiss. Thank you.
So, Archana, that was very romantic, made me want to have sex and romance right away. And it was, and Archana also, will your lips ever meet mine? Yes, I've said that many times, not out loud, but in my head, when I've been with certain people who shall remain nameless. And then there was a thing about climbing out of stone. I just want to mention Michelangelo's Bound Slave. Have you ever seen them? There's a bunch of them, Bound Slaves. Michelangelo did these sculptures of they're really sexy, because he was gay as can be, and they're slaves, men, naked, in stone, that are trying to climbing, writhing, in very delectable ways out of the stone, right? And I remember when I was young, I had a lady who lived across the street who was very smart. She was like my inspiration. And she was doing her thesis on, did Michelangelo sculpt these guys intentionally to be coming out of stone, or did he just not finish them? You know what I mean? Which is fascinating. No, but it was a real argument. Like maybe he got stopped and and they're still in the stone, Or are they struggling to get out of the stone, and is that what the art is? Or what are they? And that reminded me of that. Okay, so now we're going to hear a person who, you've seen him on TV, just so you can get prepared. And he's almost always wearing a towel. He's the towel guy. And I want you to welcome him very much, because he has to walk all the way up in the back of the room. Will you please welcome Paul Bellini. Clap for Bellini.
So Sky said Liars Club. I thought I better write some bullshit. So there's a story about a trip I made to New York about 10 years ago. For the life of me, I don't understand why some artists do what they do, why they live the way they live. Case in point, I went to New York about 10 years ago to visit my dear friend Shelley Mars. Shelley's a performance artist, which is a curious mix of actor, whore, comedian, and hippie. She was famous in the 90s for playing this lecherous old dude named Martin, who hung out at all these old strip clubs. And after she did the Martin monologue, she'd do a striptease and become the stripper that he was checking out. You can see the whole thing in a movie called Virgin Machine. Anyway, Shell lives in Chelsea in a nice apartment she's had since she moved to New York from the Midwest in the mid-'80s, but nothing about her is mid. She's a woman given to extremes. We always have a blast, and this trip was no exception. As soon as I arrived, she told me I had to go buy some pot. Now, it was December at the time, and I was in town for Christmas and New Year's stuff, and I was staying at her place. So I dropped my suitcase off, and the two of us headed out to her dealer's place. He lived in Alphabet City, which is about a 45-minute trip to the other side of town, but Shelley had recently acquired two small, ridiculous bicycles, the types that a clown would use. She handed one of them to me and told me that we were going to jet across Manhattan in our quest to catch the dealer before he went out. We dragged the bikes down the stairs leading to the lobby of her building, then mounted them, began pedaling. At first it was exhilarating driving a bike through the crazy, chaotic Manhattan drive-home traffic. We were weaving in and out of traffic jams with aplomb. And I should mention, she drives like a fucking maniac. So I was struggling to keep up with her. Then a Christmas miracle. It started snowing, like hard, big, fluffy snowflakes, like in a movie. The snow blinded me. At one point, I lost Shelley entirely and I panicked, but she was waiting for me at the next intersection. I was out of breath by the time we parked in front of some horrible old abandoned building. We locked the bikes up to a stop sign and went in. "It's a walk-up," she told me. "Are you okay with that?" Well, technically, no. At the time, I was quite fat and winded by everything, especially that bike ride. But what choice did I have? So before answering, Shelley was already bounding up the staircase towards the top floor of an 8-floor building. I dragged my ass. She kept yelling at me to hurry up. Finally, she knocked on the door of the loft, and this totally hot, amazing guy, wearing ripped jeans and a muscle top, slid open the door. He was so vivid, I could count his armpit hairs. "No," he said, stepping aside to let us in. "Jeremy, this is my friend Paul," she told him. "He's from Toronto." "General idea," said Jeremy, referencing the renowned artist collective from the 70s. "Yes," I said between gasps. Jeremy led us into his studio. He was working on a massive sculpture of a little girl eating a giant spider. Plaster was everywhere. "Is this a new piece?" asked Shelley, circling it. "It's fucking awesome. You're so talented," she said. And Jeremy seemed to blush. Oh, he was so cute, I felt ill. I noticed a nude photograph of him framed and mounted on the wall above the futon on the floor. Did I mention he was also really hung? I was definitely falling in love with every passing second. "Dude, you look like you need a glass of water," he said to me. And he went over to his sink where he dipped a chipped cup into a basin of water and handed it to me. "Sorry, we don't have running water," he said. I was grossed out, but the adorable twinkle in his eye made me grab that dirty cup and take a huge gulp, ignoring whatever was floating in there. He gave me a sweet grin. "We need pot," yelled Shelley. "What do you got?" "Just this stuff," he said, holding out a big bag. She grabbed it and took a whiff. "Yeah, Jamaican," she declared. "Can I get half an ounce?" Then turning to me, she said, "Bellini, you got any cash?" "How much do you need?" I asked. $60, she said. I took out the money and handed it to her in US currency, and she in turn handed it to Jeremy. Let's smoke, he said, pulling out a pre-rolled joint from under some shit under the table. He and Shelley clustered around the open window as they lit it. I took a puff, then choked some more. They laughed at me. Good weed always makes you cough, he said to me. Oh, with a face like his, he could have been saying anything, really. I just wanted to watch his lips move. Then suddenly, I realized that I really had to use the bathroom. I mean, all those hours of traveling, I'd held it all in, but now I really needed to use the potty. Can I use your bathroom, I asked. Jeremy pointed me in the direction down the hallway, although all I could do was look at that bare arm. I headed in the direction it pointed to and down the end of the hallway, and I found a doorway. I opened it and went inside, and at first I thought maybe this is the wrong room, but it was the only room. So there was no toilet in this bathroom. Instead, there was a litter box. A giant litter box filled with cat litter. Next to it was a scoop and a sealed basin. I was baffled. Did gorgeous Jeremy shit in a litter box? Again, I looked around to see if maybe the toilet was hidden somewhere, but no, and I had no choice. I was crowning. So I removed my pants and I squatted over that pile of gravel and enjoyed a much-needed evacuation. And when it was done, I reassembled my clothing and delicately scooped my own turd and placed it inside the sealed box, which luckily was empty. I hoped I'd done the right thing, but who the fuck knows? I went back to the studio area where Jeremy and Shelley were finishing the joint and having a laugh. Then Shelley stood up and said, "We gotta go, ready?" I nodded my head. We said goodbye. This was worth the trip because he actually embraced me and I got really close to all that. And then Shelley and I began our long walk down the stairs, and when we got outside, both bikes had been stolen. No big deal, she said. After all, I stole them from someone. Now they have a new owner. We walked back to her place in the snowfall. Now it was less magical and a little slushier, but who cares? We had a half ounce of weed. I wish I could tell you the rest of my New York trip was as magical or as bizarre as that incident, but it wasn't. Nothing could ever top having a shit in a litter box. Meow.
Thank you, Paul. We'll never forget that image that you planted on our brains. So would you please welcome a friend of mine? He got me through COVID. He has to stop drinking his drink so he can come up here. He never disappoints. And his name is almost a, what's that thing when it's the same?
Palindrome.
Yeah, he's almost a palindrome. Would you please welcome Troy Yorke?
All right, here we go. Right in. Last stop on the cuckoo car. I like being stuck in the middle. Swim fishing between my legs, lotus leaf sucking on my breast as I track every footstep behind me. My head is twisted round the wrong way. Buck on my left, who's always right. The queen with her poop shovel lagging behind. It's annoying when we don't trust the compass. Barking our way through a starry glance in broad daylight. I don't quite fit in, but that's not important if you're living between my legs, counting down the chakras from bottom to up or completely turned around. It just doesn't make sense, or rather sensing. And the space in between opens up and suddenly your head's upside down. Stop counting. It doesn't work. But it always works. 3 on the left, 3 to the right, 2:45. There just is no time to die today. I don't want to live between the reeds, always guessing who's hiding the goldfish in my pocket. Left wondering who's got time for games. It's boring. Just be real, right? Do you have any? I'm stuck between orange and blue. Polarity pulled tight. My t-shirt's in the wash, desperately calling out my name, but I have none. No one, nothing makes sense anymore. When it's all twisted around, I can't turn around, looking back, moving forward. The queen is dead. No! I've lost my turn, losing my poop in the shovel. The shovel turns to dust. All I can do is count, but I've lost all the numbers right between the eyes. 1, 2, all 3 of them circling around my fingers. I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting, I'm waiting. I'm waiting, falling asleep in my footsteps, lost in the load of leaf, tangled in 1,000 petals, railroaded, no, gunned down by tiny Dutch children scaring me to death. I can't move. Frozen on the last step, the disembark. They're all so aggressive when they get on track off the train. It's gliding by, the last step. This time, it is time! The whistle blows. I've turned my head around, knocked between the eyes at 1 o'clock on the beak. Wham! Door slams open in my face, over and over and over and over again. Afraid of what? Of must, of do, of turn, of time, of tick, of talk, of hump, of splay, of splash, of dive, of dim, of dime, of done, of did, of dike, of dem, It's just at this point. I'm on the tip of, 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 on the tip of. On the tip. I agree. Last stop on the cuckoo car.
You may have noticed, but Troy used to be an actor. I don't know why he doesn't act anymore, because you see something like that and you go like, this guy should be acting, and he is. Anyway. Yes, and Dutch children. Always been a problem for me. And they are, one should fear them. They're very frightening, those Dutch children. There's that sort of thing, and I can't remember what else I was going to say. But at any rate, I think, you got me through COVID. We used to have parties. And, I pretended I was at a bar, because I wanted bars. There were no bars. I don't know how we all got through it. And it isn't because I'm an alcoholic, though I am. It isn't about the booze. It's about the people. It's about the camaraderie. About all that stuff, and because we are social beings, so I would go there, and I had another friend like that, Keith Cole, and we would talk about other people. Some of you we would talk about, and it would be like we were with them. Do you know what I mean? For that couple of hours that we spent during COVID together, it was like we were like at a night like this, and we pretend that people were around us because we recreated them for each other. I realized what we were doing. We were gossiping about the past and all the people we knew and all the actors and all the theater people and all the fun we used to have. And it wasn't because we're old, it's because it was COVID. But I was suddenly getting old because I thought, well, this is what it'll be like when I'm 90, hopefully no sooner than that. You know what I mean? Where I can't be with anyone anymore, so I'm just going to remember what it was like to be with people. Oh dear COVID, let's just pray that we don't have to deal with that ever again. Okay, so Helen, again, is another person who I've known for nearly 1,000 years, and I famously performed in a play of hers called Honest Insanity. And we used to go out drinking together. And we were a very attractive couple. I have that wonderful photo of you and me and Steve when he was Steve. And we were such a...
You were very hot. Oh,
we were, the three of us were really, really hot. Really, you have to see the picture. We were fabulous. And we were going to punk rock Drastic Measures. We were reading poetry and stuff after Drastic Measures when they performed, because that's what they used to do after concerts. So they used to have like poetry and then concerts. And like I was just listening to Patti Smith the other day. No, I'm just gabbing so that you can come up here. And Patti Smith is a poet, and that you used to think that music and poetry was connected. The songs and poetry were connected. Look to those days again. Please welcome Helen Posno. Yay! Woo!
Well, this is from water from the well. Yes. We have sat in the green grass to hear the green wood and listened as the water played with its waves. We have sat in the sun in the glistening light while the grass grew and the birds sang in the green woods. and we could not stop listening to the water as it played with its waves. We have sat with our eyes blind inside of their tears while the symphony of insects in the glistening sunlight beckoned the birds as they sang on in their green, green woods. And we listened and wondered to the foaming white water as it played and it tumbled all over its glittering waves. Thank you. I borrow your light as I live my life, basking in the radiance of a shared smile, a remembered glance, a time when kindness itself was an act of the most courageous courtesy. Happy Pride. Your light upon my eyes brings your vision and restores my sight. I'm quite prepared to give up all my broken bones and treasured scars. I am so eager to get to the self, waiting beyond its latest definitions. I have done this, you see, and of course, that has done me. I know no other way whereby you may continually be setting yourself up to meet your Maker constantly, and seeing then what other veils might be pulled aside from eyes you really had no idea were so blind. Out of despair, despair. Out of chaos, structure. Out of silence, infinitesimal sound. Out of turbulence, peace. Thank you.
Yeah. So I can say nice things about Helen just because she's a friend of mine and I've known her for so long. But what's always interesting to me is you just sit and you listen and then you go, I'm not sure what's happening. It's a little bit like James Joyce, and I don't quite know what's happening, and then somebody go, oh, right. Something's happening all of a sudden. There's a phrase that just completely, absolutely resonates. Yes, that's our lovely Helen Posno. Now, because he helped her, and because he's a guy on the scene that we all know and love, and he's been here for almost every, I think, Liars Club. I want you to welcome the next poet. Would you please give a big hand for Paul Edward Costa?
All right, thank you so much. Appreciate that. I'm going to do 3 short poems, and we'll fit under 5 minutes. We should be good, and I will time myself. All right, good. So the first one is called Criminological, and I wrote this one really to explore the idea of why people like gangster or mafia movies. And I thought that one of the reasons that people kind of connect to it is that we live in a digital world that's very accessible, and that for them, can't leave a trace. Everything has to be in person, face to face, and I think that's that communal qualities that people kind of envy from the legal realm. Eventually, the main reason people turn to crime as a way of life won't be financial opportunity for the most part, the anxious thrill of evading capture, or the freedom in living past the rules of normal society. The main thing that'll make people commit to criminal groups will be a longing for the privacy and bonding only available while working in secret. The way that lifestyle forces every interaction under the radar, into the realm of in-person meetings, face-to-face, in parks, parking lots, or the droning noise of a laundromat. Like mafia movies with a deeper sense of community than what's found in legally omniscient telecommunications, as traceable as they are accessible. Unlimited, though rooted in cold distance, with an immaterial quality both freeing and formless in equal measure. Where the best prison cell doesn't need steel bars or layers of physical confinement. All it needs is a vestibule and 2 unlocked doors. One holding a lens, amplifying the length of roads winding behind you. One hiding the promise of wonders soon to come through. And the assurance that what you anticipate is nearly within view. Bolstered by a fear of backtracking and recalculating, a route to lesser treasures than what you think will appear. Next one is an older one. I haven't done it in a little while, but I think I got it down straight. And to fit with, it's probably one of the only poems I have that really deals with the explicitly sexual content, so I'll probably, to fit in line with some of the stuff that's been read already, I'll do this one here. Although it's more about language and consent. The dominatrix stopped, turned, and faced her fidgeting client. Before their first session, and while zipping up her mask, she asked which safe word he had selected. She said puke is popular for being pretty repulsive, while others choose curdled to conjure the scent of expired milk. And others yet use strudel to sink a sensual mood. But her client, confused, only asked why a simple no wouldn't suffice instead, stunning her into silence as she discarded her mask, shocked by a rare specimen of innocence, somehow still unscathed by twisted, weaponized words. And the final one is the newest one I've written, and this one really, if you've been in any kind of artistic medium, acting, poetry, painting, whatever you're part of, you've probably encountered gatekeepers who feel like they're the tastemakers who think they can approve of who does or doesn't engage in the artistic medium. And after dealing with some of these people in the last few weeks, I wrote this one. Who gatekeeps the gatekeepers? Is it done by graduates of a special school where applicants go to show how well they can dispense their approval? In an institute maintaining exclusivity as a burden of proof, as some badge of pure authenticity? And where do the failed gatekeepers go? Maybe they'll be trustworthy after being unable to adequately divide our population, or maybe they'll wander around while overcompensating, constantly trying to prove their skill at separating someone from a goal. Those of us storming academy gates have to repeatedly state odes to open opportunities under our breath, so we don't begin hypocritically evaluating who among us truly deserves to pass through in pursuit of whatever Shangri-La occupies their long-range view. Thank you so much. 4 minutes, 50 seconds exactly. Amazing. And if you want to follow anything I'm up to, look up Paul Edward Costa on social media, any platform, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Paul Edward Costa, thank you so much.
Oh dear, Paul brings up so many ideas. The first thing I wanted to say was he talked about criminality and criminal stuff. This quote is on my mind. I was using in a class I was teaching the other day. It's by Penny Arcade. Penny Arcade is this wonderful performance artist from New York who identifies as a fag hag, which is absolutely fabulous. That is her sexuality, fag hag. And this is a quote, I'm paraphrasing, I have to sometime learn this quote because I use it all the time. But she said, it's very relevant to here. She said, art without a criminal element is merely academia. And I think that's a really important statement. Now, I'm not sort of trying to romanticize criminality, but unfortunately, it is with us, and it always will be. Okay, so we can't pretend that it's never going to be there. But she's suggesting, that there is an element of that we're outsiders, right? So many of us are outsiders and live outside for various reasons. And if it becomes something that isn't at all dangerous in any way, I think that's the best way to look at it. Then it becomes academia. Let me tell you, I've been in it, and we don't want to be in it again. And one more thing, from Paul Costa. He doesn't mind. I objectify him constantly when I'm not allowed to anymore. Paul, just tell me. But I think he's an attractive guy. So he made me, and he's a teacher. So he made me think of a teacher I had in 5th grade. I will never forget him. His name was, are you ready? Mr. Draggett. Mr. Draggett was so fucking hot. He was so fucking hot. And then one day, he was my teacher for the whole goddamn year. I don't know how I stood it. So anyway, he was one day in the class, he took off he closed the door, closed the curtains, like did this huge drama. This is I'm old. This was probably 1963 or something, okay, so place it. So he takes off the jacket, he rolls up his sleeves, so we get to see those lovely, lovely arms, like Paul was talking about with this young dealer. And I'm going crazy. I'm only, well, what am I? I was in grade 5, so I was, what 10 or something? But I know inside that all of my stomach's turning with desire. I didn't really know what desire was, but I was all excited. And he's gonna do something, you know? In the back of my head, like, is he gonna jerk off? Like, what is he gonna do? Anyway, he takes out a cigarette, and he smokes, this is 1963, and he smokes the cigarette in front of us, or takes a puff. Then he says, "Never, ever do that." It was classic, right? I think he took one puff and put the cigarette out. And I was like awash with emotion and desire. And then he put his coat on, sadly, and went back to being Mr. Dragon, the teacher. And you know, he was just teaching us a lesson. And me, he was turning me on. Okay, so Mary, would you like to do something?
Sure.
Okay, we have one final reader, and then we'll have one little scene. So if you will, again, I'm so happy to have newcomers here, and I'm hoping that Marty, you can give me an email contact, because I would love to have access to this video, because it's the kind of thing that my publicist for this always says, you know, where's the video? So wow, we have a video. Will you please, it's Mary Fish, right? Will you please welcome Mary Fish? Clap for her.
Some of you have heard this. I like to read it because it's about you. The poet. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Here I stand in the poet's graveyard. A lie for a lie, a truth for a truth. It should be more like an old auto junkyard. Auto juices and metals over time on the earth are washed into the water table. They resurface in seas, a forced rebirth. Deadly toxins, life killers, their labels. If the heirs of poets, the egos and rhymes, blew likewise into the cosmos, would damage be done or wisdom be won? As from Sappho, the laureate of Lesbos. Ashes of her blow through our depths. In many her name strikes fear. We have not witnessed the times that she met, heavily veiled through man's many years. Poets ought to be left on the top of the ground, to rust and decay as we please, to wither and dry, empty of sound, blown away by the wind of a sneeze. When a poet dies, it's not a surprise. Everyone knew or wished she would. We look in our whispers and pull out the lies, make her almost seem understood.
That's beautiful.
Where the other one is. Oh no. Okay, well maybe I can't read you another one. Oh hey, there's a. Okay. I'm good. Oh, I know, it's the first one. Sorry, guys.
Built anticipation.
Morning glories intimidate me. Morning glories full of intimidation, showing that art is only imitation. Beauty not invented or teachable, that type of glory is unreachable. Even withered the beauty remains, only sunset removes the stains of glorious color, of perfect form. It can't be copied by a person born, nor an artist's brush, nor a human vision. Yet, in artists' hearts, it is the sole mission to create from scratch such perfection as climbs my porch in summer's procession. The only relief the creation will grant I can write poetry. Morning Glories can't.
Thank you, Mary, and it's a fitting almost end. I want to briefly, I promise I want to do it, even though I'm shy about it. I want to have a couple of the actors from inside come up and do a brief, very brief scene from a play that I wrote. Some of you might remember it. Peter Lynch was in it, I don't know, what was it, 25 years ago? Something like that. Oh, no, or Lord Norm. Yeah, maybe 30, a long time ago. It's called My Night with Tennessee, and it's based on real life story, a real life story from various people. I happen to know two people in my life, both of who Tennessee Williams, the famous playwright, flirted with. One of my ex-boyfriends flirted with Tennessee Williams flirted with him, and one of my friends, Ed's ex-boyfriend, also. They both happened to be in Vancouver when Tennessee Williams was in Vancouver doing a play called The Red Battery Sign. And interesting that I know two people that he flirted with. You know what I mean? He must have flirted with a lot of people. And so this play is based on that. There's a little scene where he asks someone to do him a favor. So come on, guys. They're going to use the microphone. They're just going to do like a radio play. And they're just going to read a little bit of My Night with Tennessee to finish off. Jonathan and Ryan, thank you.
Could you please do me an enormous favor?
Sure.
Could you take off your clothes except for your underwear? Yes, young man?
I mean, why?
I will be honest with you. I will be honest with you, so I hope that you, young man, will be honest with me. I think you are extremely beautiful. And I would like very much to see what you look like with your clothes off.
Oh?
Of course, if you'd rather not, I would completely understand.
And I can keep my underwear on.
Most certainly.
I guess there wouldn't be anything bad about doing that. The only thing is, these underwear have got a hole in the back.
Well, I think we can overlook the hole, so to speak.
Okay, so should I,
There's no time like the present.
right here?
Most certainly. And please, young man, could you take your time? I'll hold that for you.
How's that?
Well, that is quite lovely. You're not like I imagined you at all.
No.
No, it is always a surprise, a veritable surprise what someone has underneath their clothes. Now, I would like you to do me one more favor.
What?
First of all, I would like to tell you very much that you have a very nice body. Nice, it's such an awful word. Let's not say that. Let's say voluptuous. For a boy, a voluptuous body, and tender, and luscious, and ripe, and very, very, very tantalizing.
I'm getting embarrassed.
It's only right that you should. You should be embarrassed. You wouldn't be a boy at all if you didn't get embarrassed. Why, you'd be a dinosaur. and you'd be extinct. Oh, thank God you are not a dinosaur. Thank God you are a boy. The second favor I would like you to do for me is to take this book and turn to page 76.
76.
Yes, that's correct. And when you get to that page, I would like you to read for me what you see on that page.
Okay, I found it. Ready?
Yes, I am quite prepared. Let me just, there, the lighting's a bit better there. Thank you.
The Hill by Rupert Brooke. Breathless, we flung on the windy hill, laughed in the sun and kissed the lovely grass. You said, through the glory and ecstasy we pass. Wind, sun, and earth remain. The birds sing still. When we are old, and when we die, all's over that is ours, and life burns on through other lovers, other lips, said I. Heart of my heart, our heaven is now, is one. We are earth's best, that learned her lesson here. Life is our cry. We have kept the faith, we said. We shall go down with unreluctant tread, rose-crowned into the darkness. Proud we were, and laughed. I'd had such a brave, true things to say. And then you suddenly cried and turned away.
You will forgive me, that poem always makes me cry. Rupert Brooke is such a damn awful poet. Therefore, I feel a strange affinity for his work.
Well, thank you very much. It turned out to not only be an evening of poetry, but an evening about poetry, and it wasn't even the theme that I planned that we would it just happen. So thank you very much. Come to the next Hilarious Club. Go on to Facebook page and support us, and we'll get that video out there, and we will keep art alive, hopefully. Let's go.
That's